Hey. I know I haven't written or posted anything, especially video, in a very long time. So, life. I just wanted to kind of say hi and check in and share some stuff that's been on my mind. And, um, you know, I've actually had some moments recently where I have felt unsafe sharing myself or sharing things about my life, and that's bullshit. That's who I am. I share stuff about my life. I mean, if you've known me for 10 minutes, you probably know more about me than you wanted to. Um, that's just my nature. But I've suffered great loss this year, as we all have, and it has brought up some things that have just been pretty surprising, to be honest, and unexpected, and past stuff coming back up, and um, even reassessing things that I felt before and thinking differently about them. And I do think that's valuable and important. And that's why I think it's so important to share things about your life. I think that's the most basic human thing to do. And every story is valid and valuable and important and deserves a witness and to be heard. And that's how we grow as a species, right? I mean, I think one person thought of making a tool a certain way and then talked to somebody else and they were like, "Hey, you know what? If you do it this way, it's better." I don't know. That's just how I think things progressed. I'm not a history person. Um history person. I never studied history. How about that? Although I do enjoy it. So but I lost my great aunt the day before Thanksgiving, and that was a surprise, to be honest. Even though she was 93, she's my grandma's sister. They're about a year apart, and my grandma passed back in 2003. Um, and so losing my aunt, who I felt was the last matriarch of our family, was very difficult and surprisingly difficult. Um, but I think it's also because my grandma didn't have a funeral, and so hearing about my great aunt's early life just, cemented everything I already knew, but at the same time saw in a new light. I come from an amazing line of women who were so smart and so tough and just incredible people who did things at a time when women weren't supposed to do them. um, and I feel very, very lucky to be part of that, to have known them, and to hopefully carry on their spirit in that way. But going to that funeral was unbearably difficult. And I am so grateful and so fortunate to have had my wonderful boyfriend and my two best friends there with me. My sister and her husband were able to attend, even though they live like three hours away now. It was really good to see them. Um, I could not have done that on my own. I couldn't have gone, but I'm glad that I did. It definitely gave me closure that I didn't have before with my grandma. My grandma and my aunt were the women in my life, and I know this sounds terrible. I've been estranged from my father and his wife for many years, out of choice for my own sanity. Um, and while I did not communicate with them, they were there, and I saw them, and their presence was certainly felt, but not acknowledged. Not by me, not by my friends, not by my sister or her husband. Um, my brother could not attend because he had to work, which is his own horrible, fucked up story that I am not going to share right now, because I get rage mad and then I cry and then I get more angry. So I'm not talking about that, but yeah, it took everything in me to go, but I did feel absolutely compelled to go, and in the end, I'm glad I did. I was really touched that my friends were willing to go with me, um, and my boyfriend has been my rock ever since. I mean, he's been for some time, but um, he asked me if he could go. He wanted to be there for me, and that was really awesome and so sweet. And I probably broke his hand a few times that day squeezing it, but he would say, no bother, don't worry about it. Um, but yeah, it's just been really difficult. I can't say enough how grateful I am for the people I have in my life. I have, like I said, not felt safe sharing much of myself with people, and I have shut myself away, so to speak, and hid from the world. Part of that is from my new job. Um, I come home so exhausted, and I'm still getting used to everything, but it's good to be employed. And I'm just forever grateful, and I thank the stars every day for the presence of the people in my life. They're just amazing. And while I don't see many people at all, I literally have seen like 4 people in the last month outside of work, um, partly by choice, partly not. I've been really moved by some people who have reached out and have checked in on me, if you will, unexpectedly. So thank you, lovely people. Um, and even my friends from the internet, if you will, who I've known for a while, of course, but even some new folks, I've been really just overwhelmed with love, I guess, in that way. Specifically 2 people I talk to every day. We use this app called Voxer, which allows you to leave 15-minute messages for people. Hey, via Michaela, what's up? But we leave each other messages, and sometimes it's just venting. Sometimes it's just, oh my God, what the hell is going on in the world? And other times it's celebratory and screaming, and other times it's me and Michaela rapping to each other because we love Salt and Pepper. Um, and gosh, I wish they would release an album like their old stuff, because they did so much good. I tell you, Salt and Pepper. Come back, ladies. That's what I'm saying. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's amazing how you can feel so close to someone who is thousands of miles away by sharing sometimes the most trivial details of your life, and you think it's meaningless, but you end up really sharing things that are truly personal and end up being more meaningful than you intended or realized because of it. And I think that's something we've lost. In modern society, is we're not really sharing ourselves with the people in our lives in such a small way. So my whole thing right now is small stuff. I I'm not into resolutions. I've been surprised at how talk of resolutions has started to be triggering for me. I never truly participated in them. Um, and while I understand it helps some people, I truly feel it's pointless, and it's an excuse to pretend and to fake and to seek all the things we dislike about ourselves, and I'm not going to be that person anymore. And I just think that's such crap. And I know that's not a popular opinion, but it's my opinion, and so be it. If you want to change something about yourself, change it. Do the self work. I think that's so valuable and so important, but so many people are not willing to do that. They just want to like take a pill or hop on a treadmill or follow some fad and not truly make meaningful changes in their lives. And weight loss aside, because let's not go there. Then I'll really get angry, um, or sad, or both, or all of it. Um, but we're like afraid to connect on just such basic human levels that we feel forced to put on that mask, that fakeness. Um, and I think because of that, it makes life harder, because we're so afraid of what other people think of us. and we're so worried about being judged, and we can be so hard on ourselves, and for what? Um, I mean, things have just been really awful this year for everyone. And what's keeping us going? Because for a lot of people, there's not much. We're often not heard or seen or witnessed in our own family or close friendships. And that's really difficult. And sometimes you're like, what is the point of even continuing on? And all I can say is, please keep going on. Please keep going. And please reach out, because you're not burdening someone by telling them you're going through a tough time. And I've been made to feel in my own life that by saying I'm having a hard time, that's not okay to say, and I need to do something about it. And it's like, you know what? Sometimes you're just going through the shit, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's just life. But we need support, and we need love, and we need to be kind and gentle with ourselves first. And I feel that when we are kind and gentle with ourselves, it makes it a lot easier to be kind and gentle to others. And I do think that makes small changes in our lives, in our society. I think there's a ripple effect, and I don't think we realize that the impact our actions have on other people. I think we have a circle of influence that is invisible because we are so like locked in our own little bubble or our own movie. I've heard people say, and we don't see outside of it. But when you slam a door in someone's face, you didn't even see them, but you just took a shit on their whole day, or whatever. This is my point: is that it's a ripple effect, and small things can create big change, good or bad, and trying to be conscious of the present moment is so difficult with the demands of modern living, and I'm just trying to keep it really simple and small. So I guess if I'm going to have a resolution, it's going to be about small things. And I think small things is where it's at, because let's face it, the big powers that be don't really have power. They're not making changes in any big, important way. Some are, I guess, but for the most part, at least in the U.S., elected people are really just fundraisers trying to keep those funds a-flowing, and having their own opinion is not allowed. It'll get them, fired. I know that's not true everywhere, but it certainly feels that way to me here. So, I do think small things on a local level in our own communities can help people more directly and hopefully in a more meaningful way. So I don't know what that means for me right now. I have a few ideas swirling around, but I feel this overwhelming urge to do something lately, and that's what made me want to talk to y'all today. Because I don't know what to do or how to do it yet, but I know sharing that I am inspired to do something matters. So that is why I'm sharing. If you hear snoring, it's my puggy man. He has had dinner and he is tired apparently. So he's a little champion snorer. Um, but I just finished watching, and I know it took me forever, but the Ken Burns documentary on the Roosevelts. And I can't help but wonder what those three people, Teddy Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt, and Franklin Delano Roosevelt, for those who don't know, what they would think of the state of this country or even the world today. I think it is really shocking and upsetting, the things that happen every single day. And we go from tragedy to crisis to disaster and scandal, forgetting the one that came before it and really not resolving anything. If anything, we almost make a pathway for the next one. And I'm not saying I have an answer, but I'm saying that we should be less judgmental and more critical / analytical of these things. And there really definitely needs to be a sea change in how we handle the rape culture, first of all, in our society, and just victims in general. And it's just so fucked up to me how people who fucking know better will be the first to jump up and defend, a rapist or an abuser. And it's like, really? I don't know, I'm not even going to get into it. I'm sorry I even brought it up. But it's just really upsetting and really wrong. I was fortunate enough to see Margaret Cho last night in San Jose. I'd seen her many, many times. And it was really different last night, I have to say. Usually she comes out, well, usually she plays much bigger venues. So that was different. But also she came out appearing to have no makeup and just wearing jeans and a sweatshirt that said, "You can't sit with us." She just had two simple braids. I mean, she always looks fabulous. She's fucking Margaret Cho, but I have seen her enough times that she's usually very glammed up, or there's a big production, or what have you, but not so. And it was really, I think, for the most part, improvised. There was some material, some greatest hits updated for modern palettes. But she talked about a lot of this stuff, and she talked about Robin Williams and his impact on her, on the world, and his philanthropy. Oh my gosh, I cannot say that word right now. But he was an incredible person that we lost because he was in so much pain. And I was talking to my brother about that today. He's like, I just can't believe he's gone. And I'm like, well, he's like, how could someone so awesome and hilarious, do that? And I'm like, well, often the funniest people, or the people we think are the happiest, are the saddest people inside, and we don't know it. And he was just like, man. That's all he can say. And it's true. And that's why I urge people to please reach out. If you're going through a tough time, reach out. You can reach out to me. If you need an unbiased ear, I won't judge. Maybe you just need someone to read an email. I will respond. Notblueatall at notblueatall.com. I do this a lot, and I hope I have lived up to folks' expectations of me in that way. But I've had a lot of people reach out to me over the years since starting my blog, and I'm grateful for their trust and their love and the connection that it's provided. So please reach out, or to a neighbor, or a friend, to a fucking stranger. You would be surprised how wonderful people really can be. We've all been through difficult times, and it's totally okay to tell someone, I'm having a really hard time hanging on. And you know what? Life is more than cat videos on the internet. And that doesn't always heal the wound, And so I do think that if we do reach out with a hope of kindness in return, again, it'll come back around, and that kindness will keep going. And I think that is so valuable today. And I know it's hard to be vulnerable, and there's some shame there, but it's worth it. And really, anyone who turns their back to you when you're having that vulnerable moment and admitting that you're having a tough time, well, they're an asshole. That's nothing on you. And I've not been able to write for so long, and while my friends assure me that my writing voice will return, I don't know that will happen. Writing used to be quite effortless for me. I would literally just open up a blank document and my fingers would start typing, and oh, look, there you go, I have a post. And sometimes I would edit. More often than not, I wouldn't. But it's gone. Sometimes I can barely get a sentence out, which is why I'm doing this video. I just, I don't know. I don't know what's going to come. 2015 is coming, and whatever's going to come with it will come with it. And we all got to just roll with it, right? So, I just hope that we all can be kind and gentle to ourselves and to others, because I think as bad as things have been and as great as things can be, there's always going to be bad shit. And if we can't share and lean on each other, it just makes it that much harder. And I hate when people feel like it's not okay to speak, because taking away people's voices is an act of violence, in my opinion. So it's pretty heavy stuff. I'm sorry. I do think it needs to be said, though, because a lot of the greatest people in the world, all they did was listen. That's it. They just listened to people that needed to tell their story, and to tell someone, hey, this shit is hard. Help. I need help. And I hate that our society has created a way to blame people for their own misery, and that's not okay. We are not the causes of our own abuse. And often not the causes of our own survival. I'm certainly a product of a group effort in that regard. So I don't know why I'm coughing. I'm sorry. On a lighter note, for those who have been wondering, and I know there's so many of you, Video Game Pajama Day, while it did not happen last year, it will be happening tomorrow for me and my little crew. If you don't know about Video Game Pajama Donut Day, is a holiday that I created that happens anytime between Christmas and New Year's. It can happen before. It can happen any day of the year, truthfully, but for some reason it always seems to happen around then because more people have time off. And it is as awesome as it sounds. We are grown-ass adults. We don our favorite pajamas, and we start the day off with a local joint that really is worthy of a holiday itself, which is Stan's Donuts. I'm not a big donut person generally, but Stan's is special. I've eaten donuts in some famous places, but Stan's is the best, hands down. Just how it is. Speaking of hands, they're handmade right in front of you. It is very old school, and I love it. And they are just such a tiny little family-owned shop that I want to support them. I should really support them more often, but they have such limited hours that I can't always make it, and I don't always want a donut, I won't lie. But all those fat myths just aren't true. I'm not eating donuts all the time. Shocker. Don't tell TMZ. But yeah, so we get a dozen donuts from Stan's, and then coffee for those who partake, and then we all go to the grocery store and get our gourmet on, and it's not as fancy as it sounds, but we get, meats and cheese and fruit and veg, and we go home and have, a indoor picnic all day, and we play video games and board games and card games, and we watch movies, and we eat, drink, and we are merry, and that is really, to me, the spice of life, is spending time with people that you care about and love and enjoying yourself. And I think more often we spend time with people out of obligation rather than love. And that's too bad, because the people we love deserve our our presence, and the people we feel obligated to spend time with don't always deserve our presence in their lives. Let's be real. They may love us in their own twisted way, but it's not always healthy, and I fully support people making those decisions for themselves and not just staying with the norm because that's how things are done. I don't like that. I'm not about how things have always been done. I'm about how can we do things better. And I don't care if it's unorthodox or not traditional or whatever. I don't care. If there's a better way to do something, why aren't we already doing it, So, bring on 2015. I'm not going to say let's put 2014 behind us, because I think there's so many valuable lessons and so many important things still happening as a result, that we need to stay aware and conscious of that while we continue on and stay courageous in the face of adversity. And I just love you, and I hope that you love you as well, because you deserve love. And I hope you can go into this year with kindness and gentleness for yourself, because I know that will make a bigger impact for everyone. Those those little things. So thank you.